Welcome to another episode of Epigram. First of all, we want to tell you we are gonna do an official launch party of Epigram on October 11th. So I'm gonna give more details on the description below. Today we're gonna interview NATALIA BRIZUELA-PIRES.
Hi,
How are
Hector.
you?
Good.
She's the founder and creator of SURCREATIVE.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Yeah, and everything is based on beautiful and awesome graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm very, amazed and about you is one of the dreams that almost everybody has. Like, first of all, both of us, we are immigrants to this country, and we come with a dream of doing ideas, etc. Once we understand how the dynamics of work is, then you want to do your own thing. But not many people have like the, I don't know how to say that, like
in a good way.
In a good way, like the energy to start something by their own and do the sacrifice, because I bet that sometimes it's very hard, and then eventually you start seeing your gratefulness behind that. So tell me a little bit more about you. I know I can tell that you come from Argentina, blah, 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 but I want to hear it from you.
Well, if I go back in the days, when I had to decide what career I was going to follow or do, at the university, I started biochemistry, which it's completely different than graphic design. But I started studying that because my mom is a chemical engineer, my dad is also a mechanic engineer, so I had that kind of a background in my mindset, or I was like, that was my preset, when I had to decide to go to school. And so I studied that for like almost 4 years. And one day I remember I went to visit my sister, who was living in Buenos Aires, which is the capital of Argentina. And she's an architect now, but at that time she was studying, and she was building a model. And I saw her, and she was like building the model, making some like awesome boards, and then also like listening to music and drinking mate, which is our typical drink in Argentina. And I was like, what am I doing? I am super creative. And I knew that because since I was very, very little, I was always like drawing or like playing a little bit with the computer, Microsoft Word, I remember when I got my first computer. So I called my dad and I said, Dad, would you kill me if I change careers? And he said, like, do something that you love so that in the future you don't feel like working, but finish something. So after that, as soon as he said he approved, I switched to graphic design, and I fell in love with it. It was just like, it became a way of expressing my feelings. Even though I had no idea what typography was, or color, or anything, layouts, anything. I didn't know anything about graphic design. I just picked that career because it kind of like intrigued me, because I used to really observe how newspapers were laid out. And I was like, okay, this seems very interesting. And I knew that there was a lot of photography involved, and everything is involved in graphic design. It's basically the message, like all the messages that you see are coming from graphics and visuals. And so that's how I started. And yeah, I mean, I just can't stop designing because it's just not only work, it's also a way of expressing how you feel.
And some things that I might tell people, like it relates to other people. When you came to the U.S., your impression working in a creative company, did it disappoint you? It was what you wanted. Like, what was your expectation where you were coming here, and what do you felt?
Well, it was like you said, we are both immigrants, so when you land in a new country, you feel that you want to belong, or that's what I felt at that moment. And the language barrier was there, and so I had to just like forget about that and stop being shy of like talking of my accent or whatever it was. And so after I was able to do that, I started interviewing for a job, and I found my first job at Marshall Moya Design, and I was a graphic designer all there. And my expectations were just to show who I was and do the best that I could every day. Because I believe that if you do that, then the results are going to be positive always. If you put everything there, it will be awesome. So I started learning. I started working with architects. That's why, architecture is in my heart. And I learned so much from that discipline, which is different, but at the same time it's similar, right? Because we're all trying to solve problems through design. So my expectations were definitely just like to be able to be open to new things, because I was new in the country. It was like my first job as a graphic designer here in the US. Before that I was freelancing. But then at some point I felt stuck, that I wasn't growing. So that's when I decided to switch jobs, and I ended up in an agency where we were only doing graphic design. And it was nice. I learned a lot. I also learned how to manage a team, which I was previously doing, but at this job I was like fully focusing on that, and learning how to guide young designers was just amazing. But I did that for a while, and then the thing about doing my own thing was always there, and I knew I could, because I always felt that I would reach a point where I'm not growing anymore. So it's time to switch, jump, or start something different. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So just adding to that, we didn't talk about the wine that
Yes.
we're drinking. So
We should cheer.
like we are having this Santa Julia Magna from Mendoza, Argentina. Thank you, Argentina,
Woohoo.
for this wine. Like, so cheers.
Yes. Salud.
So one of the things I want to talk about SURCREATIVE. SURCREATIVE, even for us, it's like, it's really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Yeah. So SURCREATIVE has been like a channel for your career, and also for ours. If
Yeah.
you guys don't know, like we have been collaborating a lot with our art installation projects and everything. And from SURCREATIVE, a new cousin came along, that is Epigram, that is the platform we're talking right now. So we keep working in a daily basis. It's like a very cool relationship that we have. And one of the cool things I have seen of SURCREATIVE, it's very young, but it has created a capability of like exploring and doing different things very quickly. I have seen your initial work from SURCREATIVE, and I see the stuff you're doing now, and I see how the energy that you put to your work, it definitely is a lot more than when you're working to another company, And can you share the different kinds of stuff you have been doing? Because I know that you have been working on doing apps, doing websites, working on art installations, being involved in stuff related to architecture with us too. I don't know if you want to add something else.
Yeah, sure. So when I say that I'm a design addict, I mean it, because I can't stop designing. I'm on my phone, and maybe I'm on Instagram, like liking everything, just because I appreciate any kind of design. So when I started SURCREATIVE, first I was like trying to see what I was going to focus on. But then I decided, like, what if I don't decide what to focus on and just like start doing whatever comes to me? And so I got like some projects that were specifically for app design, UX UI, which is a discipline that is amazing. And it really helped me as a designer to understand how people interact with either it's an app or it's a glass, or it has a lot of thinking, and that also reinforced the way I think about design, and when I have a challenge, how I execute that, really empathizing with the user. That's what I do, and that's, app design is something that I've been doing. Then I do branding. I love branding. I love grabbing customers' mission, vision, and values, and their objectives for messages that they want to communicate, and then I love translating that into visuals in any kind, from the logo design to stationery to editorial to their website. Now the social media, it's so important that we also take care of social media accounts. So basically we do everything. We do the messaging, and we do the graphics, and we schedule like 3 posts a week or things like that. We have different strategies for them. And then I also help another customer, which it's one of my favorites. I don't know if I can say the name, but they are doing something really awesome for the world. So they basically I'm helping them to brand themselves, and with an app that it's all about cleaning rubbish around the neighborhoods to create better places. So I really, really love to work with my clients because I believe in their mission. And then I do web design. Like I have clients here and there that need like either some help from scratch or, just little tweaks. And then the other thing that I really, really focus on is just like logo design. I just love it. I think it's so complex and it can go really, really well or really, really wrong. And there's something about that dual, path that really attracts me. And then the installations, of course. Working with architects, for me, it's just amazing. It's the moment where I feel that I can fly and go all the way because, I don't know, I feel supported in other areas that are not just graphic design, and that really makes me just like go all the way. So when I work with Epigram, for me it's like, I know we have an awesome team and everyone is so awesome at what they do that, we're all at the same level. So that's the moment where we all push ideas or dreams and brainstorm, and the results are great. And today we're here doing this podcast, and again, like I'm amazed by being able to have this conversation and like share what we feel and what we do.
So adding to that, I appreciate what you're saying, and I hear you. I think we have a really good relationship and dynamic when we're working.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think sometimes I struggle when we are design addicts. We are always we always have that pressure to see the final result. We are so desperate to see how this is going to look, how beautiful it's going to look. We want to be successful. But something that I like about how you work is you take some time and take it back and analyze well how you're going to communicate this and who's going to be my audience and who's going to be looking at this. And even something that could be shown in a very different manner, you find a very creative and unique way to showcase it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. That's like because I have worked with a few good graphic designers that they know they might be watching this. And but yeah, that's a quality that is yours. That you have that ability of really hear the people who's working with you and really like manage that. So
I think intuition is something that you have to have as a designer, and I know that that's something that you develop with the years of experience. But like I was telling you before, with all the UX, UI, user experience projects that I worked, that helped me a lot to develop that intuition. And it also helped me to really listen to what the message is, and sometimes like add all the emotions into what you're trying to say. Because yes, I can design a logo, you tell me do this, and just like when clients gave you a sketch and you can just like do it in 5 minutes, yeah, sure. But if you deliver something like that, then it's not the same that if you deliver that plus a bucket of emotions on top of that you felt because you connected with the customer. So I see that difference because I have projects that of course are just production, and others that are just like production plus emotions. Those are awesome. Yeah.
So look, going now to maybe take it in a fun way. I know that I have a few graphic designer friends, and I remember them. They play a little bit like a DJ too, because they have a lot of like secret tools or stuff that are their own. Sometimes they don't share it to everybody. They're like their own like their own typographies, their own different elements to do their work that is very personal in their work. And I wanted to know what is some other students or maybe watching this, what is actually some of your process of working? For example, I know in architecture a lot of people go through Pinterest and see different whatever or use different books or whatever. But if you're going to start doing a logo about something, I guess there's not a linear way to do stuff. But I want to hear your thinking.
Yeah.
If we say we're going to do like the next logo for Julia Magna, I don't know, like what is the process you take for that? I don't know.
So I think that depending on the project, I have different processes, and depending on how I'm feeling, I have different processes. But I think the fundamental thing that I always do is at first I really, really love to listen. I have to have one, two, or like multiple conversations with a client, especially if I don't really know them very well, about what is it that they're thinking, what is it that they're feeling. That's why I say that emotions are so, so, so important, because you can tell by their voice when their passion goes up and down. And when they, when they get passionate about something, that's when you say like, yes, that's okay, let me just take that and put it in my bucket of tools. That's one thing. Then after listening and really empathizing with the client, I would just research a lot, and like not in Pinterest or not in Instagram, because I find that makes me feel anxious and sometimes it confuses me.
Okay.
So I go to my books. I have like a few books that are my favorite, and I can share those with you later. Maybe you can put them in the link. But every time I go to those books, I always go back to those books, but I always find different things because I'm looking for different things.
And they're classical books of graphic design,
Yeah.
or very contemporary?
No, it's just a mix.
Because I know people have a tendency to look a lot of graphics from the 70s,
Right.
Stuff like that. I don't know.
And that will depend on, the type of research that I'm doing. But once I find kind of like the visuals that I feel that are going to tie with, what the customer is saying, I share like an inspo mood board so that the client can tell me, or I do surveys where I send them like a couple of options, and then based on those options, they kind of like select in less than 1 minute which option resonates best with them. So that's a way for me to understand if I'm going in the right direction with the visual that they are thinking and their tendency.
Okay.
And after I have all that information, I start sketching for logos. A lot. I do a lot of sketching. Then I go to the computer. Before, I used to go to the computer right away. But then now I understand the amazing thing about actually sketching and translating that in the computer. Because it's like you combine, you translate the sketch into the computer, you take it to digital, but then when you're in digital, you still see things that are not the same when you were sketching. That, artistic thing has to be carried on. So,
Okay.
And then after that, iterations, rounds, and until you get to final.
That's all. So yeah, Nati, and adding to all the stuff that you're saying, I like how you work your social media. It's not literally showing your work. So you kind of like take your people and showcase them, like, I don't know, every week or something like that. You put like a piece of art. And all of them has like a sequence, and you will see it on the link when we share it, of like colors, very unique, expressive, neon, very bright colors, with a scale of somebody doing something, a little scale of something, and they're quite unique. What is the story behind that?
So those, everything started when I was trying to find my own style. I like to learn how to do trends, everything that it's popular. I always like to learn how that's done, and I try and test whatever. But I did that exercise for a couple years to try to find my own style, and not to copy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what you see in that feed is the result of me doing a lot of 15-minute designs. That's how I call them, which is a moment that I sit with myself in silence, and I try to meditate a little bit and really feel how I feel, right? So I connect with that emotion. And that emotion, of course, is related to whatever is happening, in my life at that moment. And so that little silhouette represents how I feel in the moment. And the ambience generated by the colors, the shadows, the lines, and all of that, it's exactly how I feel. It's like the color of my soul. So I know it might sound a little crazy, but that's exactly what it is. It's a literal representation of how I am feeling in that, moment. And each of those are really special to me because they really tell the story of my venture as a young entrepreneur and an immigrant. And the colors is something that I used to wear black all my life, most of my, when I was younger, a teenager. But then I started seeing the power of color. The power of colors is amazing because it brings life that brightness that you see, it's just like, that feeling of like, I want to do more, I want to continue doing, I want to continue designing. And so in those designs those are my art pieces that are really, really coming from me, and they represent who I am, what I like, the colors that I love, and just how I see the world.
Are you going to print them?
Yes, I will. Yeah, because a lot of people have been asking if I'm selling them, so yes, I am.
Awesome. Can you bring some for the party?
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now, like, we live in a city that is, like what you're saying, we came here and everything. How do you see now SURCREATIVE evolving in the next years? I know it's like a very vague question, but how do you see it? Like, you see it like growing with more people, or I don't know, taking a different branch? Do you have a exact vision where you want to take it?
I do. So like you said, this first year for me has been, year and a half that I've been in business. It's been like a type of like research, and like just by seeing how I feel with different areas and seeing things that I want to do. So I definitely know that I want to collaborate with Epigram and architects on building like these three-dimensional projects. But SURCREATIVE will focus on graphic design and, because we are visual communicators. So right now, one of the things that I really love about it is that I can travel anywhere and work from, wherever I decide to be. And I like to have a team that can do the same. So right now I work with different people from different parts of the world, which I feel that's amazing because they are seeing different things. We live in different parts, like different contexts. And so, yes, SURCREATIVE will grow, and I see it growing here in DC as well. Just a small firm. I don't think I want to go beyond 10 people, but I do want to keep this remote feel of, people working from different parts of the world. Like, you want to go to Paris and design from it? Yeah, go. Like, this is the deliverable. Let's collaborate, because today...
I'm from Puerto Rico?
From Puerto Rico too,
okay.
Of course. Yeah, we should do some interviews over there. But, like this remote thing, it's amazing. And we live in this fantastic technological world, so why not take advantage and not be slaves from a 9-to-5 work job, just like being able to work when you feel, because a creative person needs to have the freedom to, I don't know, just design whenever they feel like designing. If it's something boring that you have to do, of course you get it done, you send it off, and that's it. But if it's something that needs you to be part of it so that you can own it, then let's just create an environment that can make people happy while they work. So I don't know if I answer your question, but that's how I see it.
No, and I have to share, I like the communication between different cultures of creativity, like your husband with music that has been involved with us, like architecture with us, and the dynamic that starts to happen is super awesome because the different ways of thinking makes you be a better designer. Because if you're working with other talented people, it makes you push yourself to the limit.
Exactly.
And you can see that reaction, and I think it's very healthy. I think it's super cool. So that's awesome. I wanted to close saying, like, this wine has been really good.
I've been behaving. I'll wait until we cut.
One of the things that I see, like, you always want to create something, like, for example, architects, where they want to make a building that just becomes the memory of other people. I don't know if that attitude comes to you, because sometimes graphics can be ephemeral, it's temporary, and something else comes. Like, I feel sometimes like graphic designers, they're inclined to do print because of that. They like to make a book, something physical. The paper, that smell, everything, like all the quality of the paper, the print, and everything. Others might just get more involved in taking a little bit more interactive to After Effects, graphics, take the graphic to the next level, make it alive. Do you see a new project from you going to one of those directions, or you're just open? I don't know. I
think right now I'm open. But there's something about me working with young designers that I really, really enjoy. I like to discover talent and push them to the next level. and that's something that I learned while being an art director. So I kind of like have an idea in mind that I would like to build this school that would just like, help young designers to become, their best, to reach their highest potential without any limits. So if I could create, I don't know, maybe it's a huge shop where they can just like be themselves and go crazy and just come and work whenever they want with, a goal set, of course, to create things that are meaningful. And yes, they can be three-dimensional, or like just like, I don't know, like painting or whatever it is. I think that keeping in mind that the goal could be to deliver a message by, looking at the end results and saying like, yes, this is amazing, because I feel that we have some experience now working, and when you did something good and something that is meh, So, but young designers, they need to own a project and make it happen and, be proud of it. And just like, but that takes time, and that takes a lot of like confidence and like feedback from people that know more. So that's, I don't know, I have like a teacher inside me, and I think that through graphic design, I can help really, really creative and powerful souls to become their best. And I would like to have a space like that. So it's not a piece that I would like to build or do or like be remembered for, but I would like to have like, like that space to help other designers to just like grow.
That's awesome.
And fly and just go crazy. Yeah.
That looks great. So, Nati, thank you for coming. This was awesome. Cheers. See you guys.
Thank you.